Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. It's time for AfroEconomics Live. I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics. That's the website. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not already getting our emails and everything, go to AfroEconomics.com and subscribe. One of you today, for being fabulous, you're going to get a free ticket. All members come in free, a free ticket for theblackbusinesssummit.com, the Black Business Summit, by participating fully, taking the time out, making this investment in yourself. There is nothing more that I can ask of you than to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you by one of you who is not a member that took the extra step of commitment to your financial success will get a free ticket today. Now, those of you on the telephone are at a disadvantage, but you'll have to be on. You're an honor. So if one of you on the phone wins, like I don't know how I'm gonna choose. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna choose. I'm gonna let the AfroEconomics team, before we finish, is going to tell me two people, and they're going to text it to me, and they're going to tell me those two people, if it's a phone or if it's a, whatever that you want, and you'll know who you are because I'm going to give you something identifiable, like it'll be something, but you will. So make sure you register so that you can fully participate. What's the worst thing that can happen? Let's talk about insurance. And I don't want to just choose one, because you probably thought that I was just going to talk about one, like whatever one. Which one? Survey. Here's a survey for you all that are out there. Tell me, those of you who dare to respond, which type of insurance do you think that you have the best understanding of, right? I have been insurance licensed as long as I've been, an investment advisor. Like I did them all at the same time, but yet, of course, we do continuing ed. We have to do continuing ed and everything. Somebody said they think they know a lot about medical. Well, Lord, then you know a lot about a lot, because all this stuff that's been going on since the Affordable Care Act, goodness gracious. Yeah. Look, all we do know is that, all I know, and I'm licensed in it, is that all of it is changing. You got it seems like you have like 1 trillion different types of policies now. It used to be like what you would choose just between an HMO and a PPO and, all this. And now you have so many different options. So whatever your policy is, you have medical coverage. Do everything you can to find out what it covers, because every time I do anything, they take a little bit of money at the door, but before you can get a good breath, they're taking more money from you. I remember I went into like the one of those, like what they call a doc in the box. So because I was looking crazy, and I went in and it was like $10, and then I got a letter and it said, we took $199 from the card that you had on file here with us. And I was like, wow, look, that could have really messed somebody up. That it's like, thank God it didn't tear up my budget. But that's, crazy when you think that that's all you have for the visit, because that's what I thought, that I had to just pay this little amount. I really need to ask, like, what was that? What was that for? So medical, even though all of us have it, do we really know, like, Paulette, all of the things that are involved with it, and she feels really confident about it. And I think that we all should feel like look, she said that she works for a major insurance carrier. So, she used to work for them. Yes, indeed. So look, girlfriend, the day you left, they've been changing every day since. It's amazing, isn't it? But you're right. Based on all of the ones that are out there, yes, indeed, I would consider you an expert, in that medical, because you definitely worked. Tell me how many years did you work in that health insurance and medical insurance industry? I'm just curious now. Just you can chat back to me on how many years you did that. Well, that is positive. Someone else says, Ms. Edwards says that she actually knows a lot about car insurance. See, that's right. We should. If you're, what state are you a resident of? Do you know if, in, you know, because if you're in a state like one of the states, the state where I started the business, where our corporation is out of, Virginia requires that everybody have auto insurance. So that's a staple. That is a staple. It's amazing. Like, you know, now, but before the Affordable Care Act, we weren't really required to have medical insurance. You know, so it's interesting. Now you're required to have that, or you have to explain why you don't have it, and you can get tax penalties for not having it. Interesting. So we have to, let's just think about, oh, she worked there for a couple of years. All right, that's so good. That is good. So yes, we're going to make sure that we continue to learn about all of the insurances, especially the ones that you are spending money on every month. Get your policies. I encourage you, by listening to this discussion, get your policies if you don't have a copy of your auto insurance policy, because so much stuff is online now. So they say, okay, we'll email you your policy information, and you go, okay, I have it, and then you don't really realize. Like, I had one lady that was talking to me. She was in a car accident, so she took your car. So it was her fault, and they were telling her that her accident was not more than her deductible. So she had to pay for everything out of pocket. And she was blown away. She was like, she thought that if your accident was for less than your deductible, then they paid. I don't know, but it's, you know, everybody, those things are hard for me to imagine, but it's because I'm licensed in it. So I know these things, but the average person, you might not actually realize that if you have $1,000 deductible and your accident is for $850, you're going to pay all of that $850, period. So let's look at the, so check out the homeowner's insurance. You know, on your homeowner's insurance, what does it cover? How much of everything does it cover? How does your homeowner's insurance policy have, say, $1,000 of cash is covered, or $5,000 of cash is covered, and you have $10,000 of cash under your mattress? You need to know, like, that they're not going to cover if you're bringing in. Don't bring in the home more cash than it's actually going to be covered if that house burned down. You know, so make sure that you cover yourself. Have you, what items need to be listed? You know, talk to the company. I meet clients, members all the time who have, you know, policies, and they've just been auto renewing. When is the last time that you did an assessment of your auto and your homeowner's insurance policies? You know, how much are you covered if somebody comes over to your house, falls in your pool? You know, what type of liability coverage do you have? Do you have an umbrella policy? What is an umbrella policy? No, the umbrella policy will cover liabilities that exceed everything. Like, you might have 250 liability. That means, like, you'll cover if somebody sues you and they are really, really hurt, you know, a lot, and it's really, really bad, and it causes $2 million of damage to their life and their future income. You know, how much insurance do you have that will cover that? And then assessing what type of exposure do you have, because if you don't have, you know, a lot of assets that are exposed where they can actually get to, if that were to happen, then it would be okay. But see, we're trying to make sure that you're wealthy. So you need to have the insurance that will protect you from somebody suing you for an accident. You didn't mean it, but they still can sue you for an accident. Sad but true, right? So make sure that you have the proper amount of liability insurance. Remember that word. Make sure that you have the proper replacement value on your home. You know, does it have replacement coverage? That means that it will cover you for the value of replacing it in today's dollars. Because if you don't have replacement coverage, then it's just going to cover you based on the value that you got or the value of whatever their maximum is, But if you say, well, it's going to cost, $500,000, to replace my house in today's dollars, then you have to make sure that you have a certain amount of coverage. It will require, when you have replacement coverage on the policy, it will require that you have a certain amount of coverage on the policy. And then sometimes people have way too much coverage on their policy, thinking that they will actually build you a better house than you actually have if something were to happen. So, but they're not going to, insurance is not designed to make you better. The insurance is only designed to get you where you were. That's it. But you don't want to be worse off because of what happened either. So you need to, really seriously consider having replacement coverage. Please discuss riders on homeowners insurance for expensive items as jewelry and artwork. Yes, you need to have a rider on your policy for expensive items. Thank you. For these things. So you think this artwork, this is my artwork and it's lovely, and I spent $5,000. You spent $5,000 on that portrait, right? But you have to actually get an appraisal to prove that you could sell it for $10,000 now. You would have to make the investment of proving what the actual value is so that on that rider, it will actually cover the actual value of it, not just, the purchase price. And then if you don't get the extra rider and pay that extra expense, it's going to have line items, artwork, a certain amount, this a certain amount, or our artwork is excluded, must have riders. So get the details on your specific company, your specific, the policy for covering it for your specific company that you selected. So you might have a company that says, oh, we don't cover artwork. So then you need to, call me and say, oh, well, I have all this artwork, but this particular company won't cover my artwork. Sometimes you might have so much artwork that we have to find another policy just for your artwork and try to find a company that insures artwork. There's companies that insure people's hands. There's companies that will insure, if you're famous, for your eyes, they'll insure your eyes. They're insure, that they will. I should get my afro insured though. But yeah, that's it. So that happened. I should have done that a long time ago. So definitely you would have to get it appraised, to prove that it actually had value. You can't just say, oh, this is my $1 million afro, and somebody's just going to insure it. They might insure it if you pay them $1 million for $1 million of protection. But so you want to make sure that you actually have some value there, and you need to know. You're worthy of knowing what the value is. So you need to know, and you're going to need to add that on, and it's going to cost you some money because the riders are add-ons. But if something were to happen, remember, what's the title? What's the worst thing that can happen, right? So get the coverage. We talked about replacement costs. We talked about, did you know that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage, right? So you have to go and get an extra flood policy to cover flood damage. Yep, got to get it. So and if you're in an area that's highly likely to flood, then you might not be able to get it. But we can get you some flood, but it's not going to be cheap. It's just flood policies in general are not cheap. So definitely, if you think, if you're just the type that really likes to be covered extensively and properly for the worst thing that can happen, don't forget about flood insurance. So, do you have a home office? Do you have business items that need to be insured? Do you need to make sure you check on if something were to happen and this is my home office stuff, where will it be covered? Do you have a business owner's policy? How much will be covered by this homeowner's policy? Or do you work for a company and the company has you working from your home, right? So what will your employer do if something were to happen at your home? Will they make you claim on your homeowners, or is that insured by them? Just little things, try to find out. There might be something that you signed when you agreed to work from home that said that you'll be responsible for that equipment. You need to know. So and then let's look at, and you understand, I talked about, I had a note on there about, liability insurance, and that somebody comes to your house and they slip down and all that stuff. And, so make sure you check out how much liability insurance you have. Car insurance, make sure you have it. Make sure you have proper protection. Make sure you know what your state minimum requirements are. And make sure you quote around. Like I have a system that allows me to quote across a lot of different companies. A lot of times we just go from company. I get the information one time and it quotes all the companies. It says, why is auto insurance so expensive? And how can I hold down the cost of auto insurance? Okay, that's auto insurance it factors in so much stuff. They're so good at it. So sometimes auto insurance is expensive merely because of the credit score that is attached to your Social Security. Another reason why the 8th principle of AfroEconomics, credit confidence, is so important, right? That we have to keep a strong credit score, because it totally affects how they see you as a risk. See, they just have these computer algorithms, and the algorithm says that if your credit is bad, then you're more likely to do a claim for insurance, and that's where they spend money when you have to file a claim. So they're using it as a way to check the likelihood of that they'll have to spend money on you. Isn't that interesting? So auto insurance also can be expensive because of, in addition to the credit report, your driving record, definitely DUIs, things like that will tear you up. They have connected life insurance is now using your driving record to include that in the algorithm for their life insurance quote on you, because there's a connection between people who have risky driving behavior and the age of their death. People who have DUIs and bad driving records are more likely to file a claim die. So they cost the insurance companies more. Isn't that something? So there's so much in there. They don't even now almost have to get anything from you, because doctors are providing so much information to them. These databases that they have now, they'll be able to cut the cost of coming to your house and checking your blood and all of those type of things, because your driving record, your credit report, your doctor's record will almost tell them everything about you. The question is there a difference between flood insurance for natural disaster related flooding versus plumbing or rain related flooding? Yes, and yes. Because there's you can get a sunk pump, because that's not flooding when you have a plumbing related, problem. But rain related flooding is flooding, and hurricane is definitely flooding. But the plumbing, you can get sewage backup, coverage, and you can put those on, make sure that that's on the policy. So yes, flooding is flooding. Plumbing problem is a plumbing problem. So definitely get the details, on making sure that you have sewage backup coverage, or however they would use the terminology. Just say that if my toilet backs up and floods my whole house, do I have coverage on that? No. Well, how do I add that rider? Because that's not a flood. So they're saying that they cannot cover you for things that are totally outside of their control. Like, they can't cover that type of loss of a hurricane comes down and tears up, all of that. It's just too big a loss to try to cover. But if one person's house has a sewage backup, because at the same time, they know that you want to not have a sewage backup, as much as they don't want to have. But as far as a natural disaster and flooding, it's almost like uninsurable, because you can't plan. There's no algorithm for that. But once they can figure out an algorithm about when, God's going to do these things, then they'll cover that too. They'll let you do that too. But you can't get flood insurance. It's just an extra, totally different policy, and so we can definitely, good question. Check into that sewage backup. Everything involving your house can be covered at an expense. Look, yes, indeed. They want your money. So get the sewage backup. And then the car insurance, absolute must. Auto insurance, why is it so expensive? The how to make it more affordable. How to make it more affordable. We want to increase our deductions. We want to improve our credit score. We want to, if the car is so old, then make sure that you correct your coverages that you don't need for an old policy. Make sure you get the proper coverages also. And even though you can increase the deductible, if you increase your deductible to $1,000, make sure you have $1,000, right? Don't put yourself, don't mess you up, mess yourself up, and then you put your car in the shop because something happened, you can't get to work, you don't have the $1,000, so if you don't have it, while you don't have it and while you're trying to save it up, so make sure that you just reduce it and you're basically paying it for it. That's why it costs more to not have money. Those are the things that people don't realize, that it's expensive to not have money, and that's what AfroEconomics is going to cure that, because we're going to reposition our priorities. And once you start saving, buying one less night out, a month or two, you can end up with that $1,000 for that deductible. You can call the insurance company, increase your deductible because you got your savings straight, but it just takes planning, takes sacrifice. That makes sense? Yeah, we can do it. Yep. And then the other ways to cut costs: drive safely, don't smoke. It says, so statistics show that smokers have more accidents than non-smokers. Isn't that something? And if you're still in school, pull up the grades, and then because the grades are considered in the insurance score, and that's something that you have good ones in. If you have good grades, that you can get a discount for that. So, and with some insurers, life insurance. So, do you all have it? How do you decide how much you need, right? How do you decide if you need any? This is my key answer. If you died today, would someone suffer? Is someone depending on your income in order to sustain themselves? Then you need life insurance. You got some debt that you signed with someone, and then you need to make sure that you have insurance on each other. I've seen that happen too many times, not with my AfroEconomics members, but just the sad stories out here. And they'll go, oh, she co-signed with him and then he died and she couldn't pay that stuff off and she's got all that stuff and, and he's gone or she's gone. So make sure that you have, that you don't have to buy the life insurance from the company. Like you go in and you buy a car and they go, we can put some life insurance on that for just $20 more a month. That's not the most effective use of your money, because it only will pay off that car. Or they'll have like disability, you pay this, you pay this extra, and if you become disabled, then we'll pay the car payment. But if you become that disabled, you probably could just sell that car. You won't need to still have that car sitting there. So you need to just have a generic coverage, disability coverage, so that you can spend the money on anything you want it on, or have the life insurance policy that you can pay off what you want to pay off. I don't really encourage you to, I don't encourage you to have policies that are only connected to a specific debt. Like if we have life insurance on and it's connected to your home mortgage, then every time you pay your mortgage, your protection is going down, but the price of it is staying the same. So it's a declining life insurance policy. And if you refinance that, you'll have to buy another policy at an older age. So if you buy a policy, even if you pay it all the way down and then you pass, that you still get the death benefit of the original policy that you've been paying. Does that make sense? Give me an amen. So make sure that you're very careful in those things that seem like, oh, that's easy. I ain't got to do no health check, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to do a health check, but is it actually, the best thing that you should do, for yourself? Is it really over the long term going to get you where you're trying to get as far as legacy planning, estate planning, your goals for your family? So make sure every penny counts. So even though that was easy, that which comes easy typically is not the best for you, right? Anything that looks too good to be true usually is. So I say that a simple way to determine how much life insurance you may need. A rule of thumb used to be to do 10 times your annual income. So if you make 50,000, you need $500,000, and this and that, blah, blah. The best way to do it is to actually allow me to do an analysis and see, exactly what you're going to need. And there's some, great cost-effective permanent policies that you can do so that you don't have to worry about the term running out on you. Even though we've been programmed to believe that term is the only answer, I believe that there are many benefits to having a permanent policy that's set up to be cost effective for you. The thing with permanent policies is you have to be very careful, because many agents will encourage you to overfund it, and that might not be what you need to do. You need to just maximize your coverage and make sure that you have something that will last for your lifetime. So, just be careful. Let's talk to you. That's the key part about membership. And so and it says, should I never buy anything but term life insurance? And I kind of answered that because there's people that really focus on the Black community that say buy term, invest the difference. Most of them don't even have a securities license, and they say, well, we'll bring in my friend and they'll tell you about some mutual funds that you can do. And the mutual funds typically have way too many sales charges and expenses associated with them. And I run those type of things, and I can show you the expenses internally in any mutual funds that you have. And generally the AfroEconomics portfolios, I haven't seen, anything out there cheaper, definitely not in a full service mutual fund. So we need to be very careful when you are told to buy this and invest the difference, and what you're investing it in is absolutely weighing you down and slowing you down, and you're paying way too much money for it. So you want to make sure that you have proper insurance, period. When you buy insurance, get it for insurance. But if your family has a history of certain diseases that you don't have at this point in your life, you could get a permanent policy, and so no matter what happens in the future, you will be protected. So until they start putting in there. That's why they ask us that kind of stuff. What your mama died from, what your daddy died from, how was your mom doing, how is so and so. That we have to be very careful what we put in those databases, because it can and will be used against you. They do not say on there, this don't matter, we just want to know your business. They're asking us that for a reason. They definitely are. So be careful. So the health insurance is something I can't do without. Yeah, there is health insurance. Medical insurance is something that we definitely need. You just need to make sure that you have a minimum major medical. So if something happens to you, that you will be able to go into the hospital without having to worry about covering those big bills. And when you start looking at that, are also covered under health insurance. The categories would be things like long-term care insurance. That's going extremely expensive. Long-term care is the insurance that will cover you for having to go into a nursing home and those type of needs. So I've been trying to position cost effectively the use of using a life insurance policy that allows you to use your death benefit for chronic illness issues, so that it will supplement your income, but you're spending your death benefit while you're alive. So there are a lot of options out there, so that you're only paying for a life policy, and then you're thinking that when that happens, hopefully your children won't be out of school, and they don't need the death benefit of that, but the having that coverage that you can pull it out for those chronic illness issues. So there's so many ways that we can, if we talk and we look at the goals. See, the first thing about AfroEconomics is to get you to look at the financial planning questionnaire, to get in there and answer those questions. What are your goals? And I'll have this PDF that I'll send you. And then when we meet, like I met with a couple over the weekend. They were in Atlanta. They were sitting in their bedroom. We were talking, and, we were getting it done. It doesn't matter where you are. We have to put in the work, and then, they were like, I just don't think, maybe we don't have the time. And I was saying, like, the most of the time, what we need to do the most, we can't afford not to do. So it's like, we just have to get our priorities, together. We just have to get those straight. So definitely a proper insurance analysis of thinking about what is the worst thing that can happen is important. Who is depending on you? What do you currently have? Getting an understanding of what you currently have. I remember like 20 years ago, I met this couple and I said, do y'all have your long-term care? They said, yeah, we got it. I said, do you want me to look at it? They said, nah, we got it. So then 20 years later, one of them got really sick, and the policy was so difficult to get approved that he died before she got one payment out of it. And they had been paying it for 20 years, but they did not know the criteria that it was, because he was so afraid of me looking at it, that he was afraid that I was going to find a hole in it. But the hole in it ended up hurting him. So after that, the wife said, I will not pay them one more dime. What do I need to do, JB? And we got that straight. That's, we have to be very careful. You think you got it. Met another lady, and she was like, oh yeah, everything is covered at work. Everything is covered at work, And then a couple of years later, she had a nervous breakdown, and everything was not covered at work. So get your team right. Let's talk and look at what you got going. And, it's good. It's good to know what's going on. No, don't assume anything, and ask for all the details on everything you spend your money on. If you have any questions, call me 1-844-JB Bryan. Look, see, whenever I ask anybody to tell me something, that's when I know that if they forget, but they're gonna look, but I know the AfroEconomics team is like, nah, I didn't know when you were gonna finish. But I have like 2 winners. The 2 winners for tickets today are, let me look down the list. Look, I have this thing. I can't even, it's not even letting me like go all the way down the list. But it is, and I'm gonna close this. Please work. All right, Paulette, you get a free ticket for your great question. And then also LR, you got a free ticket. You're on the curious, but in order to get your ticket, woohoo! She said, that's right, girl. You got your free ticket to the Black Business Summit. Just made you $100 today. And the LR, if you give me your full name. So Paula, I'll need you to email me at jb@jbbryan.com and make sure, we probably already have it, your full name, your phone number, and your email, and we'll send you your ticket. And all of you who are the Black Business Summit is, you will click right here as a member and you can register right in there. And it is Sunday, November 12th. Sunday, November 12th. So, definitely make sure, I need all of you to, participate and make a difference in the world. Somebody needs your comments and participation. And it's at 10 a.m. until we're going to party. No, it's 10 to 4. 10 to 4. And then 5 if we need it. And 6 too. But we'll get it all in. We'll get it done. And I'm going to have breakfast and I'm going to have some lunch. And then you come and carb load all you want. And they'll also have the Marriott stuff too. And we'll get some greens and some fruits there. So definitely make sure that you give me your information, phone, email, and full name. So, and you'll get a registration email and you'll be in there. We'll also have some tickets. So let me know if you need to buy some actual tickets for friends that you would like to bring. Just let me know. So thank you. Thank God for y'all. Remember, you can do it. You can do anything. Yes, you can. Have a great day. Allow me to assist you. Please consider joining the AfroEconomics membership. We have Gianyame membership now, that 10% of your membership goes back to charity. So, check that out. We have a family and individual. And then we have even the legacy membership that can be inherited, So definitely check out the membership options. And even those of you who are members, you can look at that. If you ever want to change or upgrade, let me know. Y'all have a wonderfully blessed day, and I look forward to serving you big time. Bye-bye.